Now available in paperback and Kindle, All About Marilyn. Learn all about the struggles of a faded former teen sitcom star in this absolutely fabulous 5-star screenplay. Get All About Marilyn in paperback and Kindle on Amazon.com today.
Better get the coleslaw, y'all, because we're having us a barbecue.
Halle Berry is eternally miffed that she's the only black woman to win the Oscar for Best Actress. She's miffed, I tell ya! Miffed! Now, in an interview that Halle Berry did with Marie Claire magazine, she states that she's eternally miffed that no black actress has come behind her and won another Best Actress Oscar. And according to Halle Berry, she says that she's saddened that year after year, no other black actress has ever come behind her and won another Best Actress Oscar, and pointed to performances that were made by other actresses that she said should have been ones that would have won another Best Actress Oscar for a black actress, such as Andra Day in The United States versus Billie Holiday, Viola Davis in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, and also then talked about Cynthia Erivo in Harriet, ridiculous, and also talked about Ruth Negga in Loving, which is a film about the whole lawsuit of Loving versus Virginia. I mean, all these roles are the ones she says were considered worthy of a Best Actress Oscar, and she's just eternally miffed that none of these black women have won an Academy Award for Best Actress since she took home the Oscar back in 2002. Now, it looks like to me that Halle Berry must be completely clueless regarding the whole institution of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, because when it comes to the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, they were not interested in giving her that Oscar for Best Actress on merit. No, because the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences is a part of the media arm of white supremacy, they only gave her that Oscar for two reasons. One, they gave her that Oscar because she was willing to compromise her integrity and her dignity by getting naked in that sex scene with Billy Bob Thornton and having what simulated what we see as sex on screen as Letitia Musgrove and Billy Bob got down in that borderline pornographic scene where many of the people who were a part of the Academy got their jollies about seeing this black woman compromise her principles to go out here and look to move up the Hollywood social ladder. And two, they hoped to use the image of Halle Berry to further their anti-black agenda. And that's the reason why Halle Berry basically won the Oscar for Best Actress in Monsters Ball, was because the people at the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences could use that performance in that film to further the anti-black agenda of white supremacy as related to the image of black women, because before Halle Berry went out here and starred in the role in Monsters Ball as Letitia Musgrove, we had the subculture of black women participating in sexually provocative and sexually promiscuous behavior being promoted by rappers that were presented by the white media, such as Lil' Kim and Foxy Brown, being promoted in inner city black communities as the new standard for black women. And while that subculture was starting to basically stay stagnant in that subculture of rap music, what happened was they needed someone to be a catalyst to legitimize those images that would bring us back to the old stereotype of the Jezebel and the Sapphire, and they needed someone who would be a face they could promote to legitimize and normalize those images. And the easiest way for them to legitimize those images was to go out here and reward someone in black society who was very popular, and what the white supremacists did to go out here and legitimize the images and bring back life into the stereotype of the black Jezebel was they got Halle Berry and nominated and got her to star in this film, Monsters Ball, that Angela Bassett and Queen Latifah turned down. And as they got Halle Berry to star in this role, they found the useful idiot they could go out here to further their anti-black agenda, and they could legitimize that agenda by going out and nominating Halle Berry for multiple awards, such as the Golden Globes and many others like the Screen Actors Guild. And then, once she got the most popular award, which was the Academy Award, this would not only make it where they could get her to be the first black woman to be the first black woman to win Best Actress, but also be the black woman who would legitimize the image of the Jezebel as a norm, legitimize the image of the black Jezebel as a norm, and basically lead to the programming of the minds of most of these millennials and Gen Z black women to start seeing themselves as being ratchet and ghetto as a social norm. This was all part of a social engineering campaign. It was not about trying to, again, go out here and judge Halle Berry's acting on any sort of merit. No, what Hollywood, the media arm of white supremacy, wanted to do was legitimize being a ghetto black woman in the minds of the next generation of black women and young black girls, because they saw the impact that Bill Cosby had as related to shaping the image of the generation of Gen X black girls and Gen X black women and young millennials. Now, what Bill Cosby did when he created The Cosby Show was basically shatter all those stereotypes by presenting you with images of a successful black woman in Claire Huxtable who stood at the side of her husband, Heathcliff Huxtable, and he further went out here and gave us positive black images of young black girls in college student Sandra Huxtable, girl next door Denise Huxtable, middle sister Vanessa Huxtable, and little daughter Rudy. I mean, he gave us balanced, humanized images of black women and black girls, and an entire two generations basically saw those images of black girls. You had boys aspiring to want to get with Denise and guys thinking about marriage to Sandra. You had Claire, who was seen as the ultimate black mom, and you had Vanessa and Rudy seen as the ideal for good black girls. And these images, again, shaped the way my generation and part of my cousin's generation, which were the millennials, how we saw black girls and black women. And instead of us seeing black women as ratchet and raggedy, we saw them as balanced and humanized. Not to mention, on his spin-off show, A Different World, we also got to see more images of black girls, like the legacy debutante in Whitley, the free spirit in Freddie, and Jaleesa, who was the black woman looking to rebuild her life. I mean, we got to see a diversity of thought and ideas regarding the image of black women. And what the white supremacists didn't like was that we were seeing all these pictures of black girls and black women, not only with Bill Cosby, who ushered in this new era, but also on other shows like Martin and other shows like Living Single. And also we saw them even as far as 2000 with Girlfriends. We saw a whole lot of, again, balanced pictures of black women, and the white supremacists didn't want those images out there because they want the black woman basically looking up at the white woman as the ultimate ideal of beauty, and want the black woman, if she sees images of herself, to see those images of herself at the bottom of the world, see images of herself at the bottom of the world, and see this as the standard. And as she sees those negative images of herself, she thinks that this is her ideal. And to get that ball rolling, they needed someone who could start the agenda in a subculture, and that's where they got these white executives got Little Kim and Foxy Brown. Little Kim, who already had serious self-esteem issues as related to her skin due to all of the verbal abuse she got from Notorious B.I.G., and we got Foxy Brown, who also had self-esteem issues, and they were, again, the subculture that they designed in white supremacy. And as they had their subculture, they needed, again, and I'll repeat it again, that person to mainstream those ideas. And the perfect person they would have to do that is Halle Berry, because Halle Berry was considered to be the most beautiful black woman in the world. And as she was considered to be the most beautiful black woman in the world, they wanted to go out here and take the most beautiful black woman in the world and have her go out here and present the agenda that they wanted her to present the agenda they wanted. So that's why they came to her with Monsters Ball and had her go and star in Monsters Ball and participate in that borderline pornographic sex scene, because that's what the white supremacists wanted to use as the catalyst to change black culture, and use her as the catalyst to change black culture from us seeing that diversity of black women who were balanced and humanized, such as Claire Huxtable, the ideal mom, Denise Huxtable, considered the girl next door that guys dreamed of dating, Sandra Huxtable, the young black wife, or Vanessa Huxtable, the young black teenager that everybody thought was a decent sister, and Rudy Huxtable, a nice black girl, and other characters that were presented, again, by black producers. They wanted to get you off the road of seeing yourself as that black woman, to fit yourself into a black box that's acceptable to white racists, a black box that's acceptable to white racists. I like to go in depth on this in my novel, Spellbound. And what happened is, Spellbound Halle Berry wanted to go out here and seek out that white validation and approval by getting this award, thinking that this wouldn't be the award that would be the one that would show her range as a black actress, but she couldn't see the anti-black agenda that this film represented, the way Angela Bassett and Queen Latifah saw the anti-black agenda, and they basically took Halle Berry, the useful idiot, used her, and again, got her in this movie, and then after they got her in this movie, they could go out here and use this to push their anti-black agenda between the lines. And as they pushed that agenda between the lines, what they wanted to do again was legitimize this as the standard, because like Professor Black Truth has talked about, what they do is give awards to people to legitimize whatever they want to legitimize. And this is what they do with Halle Berry, was use this to legitimize their agenda as related to degrading the black female image and taking black women off the course of being balanced and humanized that Bill Cosby set, to heading down this road of degradation and ratchetness that we saw ever since about 2002. Ever since 2002, we've seen the black woman's role basically change. And as this role has changed, we basically see that Halle Berry's whole speech at the Academy Awards when she won Best Actress did not come to fruition, and did not come to fruition because, as she said in her speech, this whole award was going to open doors for black women. Well, I hate to break it to Halle, they never planned on opening a single door for black women and black actresses to receive those kinds of roles, because when it came to black actresses, white supremacy has no interest in elevating the black female image at all. 1. 2, that screenwriters in Hollywood don't want to write screenplays for black women like I did with my screenplay All About Marilyn. 3, they don't want to buy any screenplay that features a black female in the lead, because black females are not considered bankable by Hollywood standards. And 4, if a script does come through for a black actress, they find ways to make sure that that script doesn't get read or even get greenlit. So when Halle Berry sits there and says, oh, she's eternally miffed that no other black actress has come behind her, well, there's a whole system designed to keep that from happening. Again, with the media arm of white supremacy, again, their job is to make sure that the only images that are elevated are those of white women and white men, and the occasional non-black person who looks white or is considered attractive enough to be appealing to white men, and have the white man in the lead with that woman. And when it comes to black women, they're not interested in making those kinds of films. And Halle Berry should be thinking critically about this, because she should look back at her career in the 90s and see all the romantic comedies that her contemporaries like Julia Roberts, Cameron Diaz, and many others such as Gwyneth Paltrow, and even women like Ricki Lake, they all got to star in those romantic comedies and go out here and become bankable stars. But the only two romantic comedies she was ever in was Boomerang and Strictly Business. And while Boomerang, yes, was a blockbuster movie because Eddie Murphy was the draw, she was not really the love interest but the consolation prize. And that, again, was a passive-aggressive slap at the most beautiful black woman in the world, that you have the most beautiful black woman in the world considered to be a consolation prize, but the white women at the time were considered to be the ones that were attractive and desirable, and considered to be the ones that the guys wanted to get. And in Strictly Business, she was basically, again, considered to be the consolation prize to this simp that Joseph C. Phillips played, who was already in a relationship with another woman, but decides to just chase after her while he's in a relationship with another woman. No, she wasn't the center focus love interest in that movie, and was never really considered for any sort of love interest in a movie. Yes, she did biopics like Introducing Dorothy Dandridge. Again, a story that was a biopic, but was also a tragedy because, again, white supremacy doesn't want you to see the black woman elevated as beautiful and considered to be the most desirable, to the point where she has success in a relationship. Moreover, she was also in ensemble movies like X-Men, and where she basically was in the background of that movie. And she was also in Swordfish, where she first got topless. And again, Swordfish wasn't anything to write home about because that was just a garbage movie. But she didn't get to go and star in those romantic comedies that basically made stars out of women like Julia Roberts, Jennifer Lopez, Cameron Diaz, Gwyneth Paltrow. I mean, her contemporaries are sitting there making a whole lot of bank at the box office and becoming major stars. Meanwhile, Halle, yes, she's well known for certain movies, but not really known as that woman that is the love interest, even though she's the most beautiful black woman in the world. And she's sitting there saying, oh, she's eternally miffed that nobody came behind her, not looking at how the media arm of white supremacy never wanted anyone to come behind her in the first place, because the media arm of white supremacy never wanted anybody to come behind Halle, because they don't want to elevate the idea and the image that black women are beautiful. No, they don't want to elevate that idea in their system. No, that's why even if you do get a good script that's written about black women or a black female lead, what Hollywood will do if they get that good script, especially if it comes from a black screenwriter, is buy that script from that black screenwriter. Then after they buy that script and they own all the rights to that script, what they do is hire one of their white or non-black screenwriters to rewrite that script. And they rewrite that script as a white character using white dialogue patterns and white speech patterns, and basically change that character completely. And then what they do is may give the black writer a co-credit and basically bury that co-credit in the back. But what they will do is go out here and hire a white or a non-black actress and cast them in that role, and you'll never know that script was ever written for a black actress. And that's how many black actresses never get access to those roles that basically could have been ones that could have led to them being on the road to an Oscar as related to substance of story. Because when it comes to the media arm of white supremacy, and I listen to the roles that Halle Berry talks about as related to winning that Oscar, it basically fits into the same anti-black box and the same anti-black agenda that they have for their films. I mean, she's sitting there talking about how they had the United States versus Billie Holiday, again, another biopic, again, one of the standard roles they have for us, where basically they like to see these stories where we're out here possibly losing or possibly playing different roles like that. Or Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, which is basically, again, a mammy type role where the person is asexualized and, again, that's a role that fits their box. And other roles that she has, like Cynthia Erivo and Harriet, a historically inaccurate biopic that's just absolutely terrible. And then she talks about Ruth Negga in Loving, the film about Loving versus Virginia. Again, a swirler and divestment type film that nobody cared about. Again, these are not the kinds of films that are, again, about elevating the black woman or the black image, but about degrading the black woman and degrading the black image. And again, Hollywood had already met its diversity quota when they gave Halle the Oscar in 2002, and she can be as miffed as she wants. But when it comes to Hollywood, again, the media arm of white supremacy is not about elevating the image of the black woman. No, it's not about elevating the image of the black woman like Halle Berry thought she would be able to do, because she didn't think critically about what Hollywood is. She didn't think critically about Hollywood is and the entertainment industry is, because the entertainment industry is not about elevating the image of black women or presenting a positive image of black women, because they don't want the image of black women competing with white women, because they know that if the image of the black woman competes with the image of the white woman, she will basically beat the image of the white woman. And they don't want that out there at all. No, they don't want that out there at all. And poor Halle doesn't understand this, because she basically came in not understanding the subtle politics transpiring around Hollywood, because she came from a white mother, and because her black father wasn't in her life, he couldn't sit down and teach her about the subtle politics as related to the system of white supremacy in entertainment. He couldn't teach her, and that's why she's sitting here miffed, wondering why no other black actress would be allowed to win a Best Actress Oscar, not understanding that the only reason why she won was because of the anti-black agenda that they used to have her mainstream. Because ever since Halle won the Oscar for Monsters Ball, we've gone from seeing black women as beautiful and basically the kind of girl you want to date and marry that Bill Cosby crafted, to seeing the image of black women go back to the old stereotypes that were established back in Jim Crow period of the 1930s and even before an antebellum slavery. That's what we've seen in most of these biopics, most of these slave movies, or films that, again, promote the idea of a black Jezebel in Monsters Ball. And that socially engineered most of those later millennials and Gen Z black women to start participating in behavior like these twerk videos, in behavior like having these fights in fast food restaurants. And instead of us seeing respectable, dignified sisters like I grew up with in the 80s, we don't see those images anymore. No, what we see is a culture of ratchetness that was normalized by Halle Berry's Oscar win. And while she can sit there miffed that, oh, there's no other black woman to come behind her, she can't see that the white supremacists basically closed the door behind her, because once they got their token to win their award, they could now further continue on with their anti-black agenda, because that's what the whole plan was from the beginning, to promote an anti-black agenda to degrade the image of the black woman. And sadly, Halle Berry can't see that at all. She can't see it at all. She's out here thinking, oh, that there's nobody to come behind her. Well, the Academy doesn't want anyone to come behind her, and she doesn't even know how this business works. Now, I'm a guy who studied this business for over 30 years. I know how this business works. And again, their business is about mind control, like Professor Black Truth has stated. It's about mind control, because what they wanted to do was basically manipulate the minds of black women to believe that being a hood rat and a ghetto chick is normal, make them believe that being at the bottom of the world is normal, and they socially engineered this and basically mainstream this idea as the social norm. And sadly, useful idiot Halle Berry can't see the big picture regarding this whole situation. She can't see the picture and the reason why there is no other black actress. Again, I'll state it once more. Again, when it comes to Hollywood, they don't want another black actress to get those kinds of roles. No, again, they don't. When it comes to their screenwriters, they don't write these type of roles for black women. I mean, you don't see people writing romantic comedies for black women. You don't see those kind of stories presented for black women that get women Best Actress Oscars. No, that material, again, yes, if it's written, it's usually white guys writing to get the biggest payday. And the biggest payday is with white female leads. So they're going to write what makes them money. And the few black screenwriters like myself who do want to write those kind of stories, and I have those kind of stories sitting on my hard drive. I have, in addition to All About Marilyn, I have an ISIS screenplay that I wrote. I have a Cassandra Cookbook screenplay, which was a romantic comedy between two black-owned businesses. Again, those kind of scripts, they don't get sold because, again, Hollywood doesn't consider them bankable, and the great irony is that Halle Berry could have starred in those bankable movies in the 90s that, like Cameron Diaz and Gwyneth Paltrow, Jennifer Lopez, and many others, white and non-black actresses, starred in, but sadly she didn't take those kind of roles and didn't even ask the question, why am I not getting offered these kind of roles? I mean, if these white women, again, are getting these kind of roles, why are they not giving these kind of roles? Because the roles that they gave her were their scraps and leftovers, and they, again, never gave her a romance at all. Always gave her these thrillers, and like Gothica, and there was another one that she did back in 2008 or so, or movies like Frankie and Alice, which I call fail because the movie was a failure. I mean, they always gave her the garbage scripts, and she's sitting there wondering, oh, I'm the most beautiful black woman in the world, and I'm not getting quality material. Well, if you're not getting quality material, the women behind you are getting even less quality material, because after you get the scraps and leftovers of the Beckys, they get the scraps and leftovers that you pass on. So there's no reason why there's no black woman to come behind Halle Berry. And again, white supremacy doesn't want us looking up at black women the way black boys and black men looked at Claire Huxtable, Denise Huxtable, Sandra Huxtable, Vanessa Huxtable, Laura Winslow, and Hillary from The Fresh Prince, Joan and Maya and Lynn, and all the characters from Girlfriends. They don't want us looking at those black women. Even the women from Living Single, they don't want us looking at those black women. They want you to see downtrodden black women and then compare it to white women. And again, Halle doesn't really understand the big picture as related to the media arm of white supremacy, and doesn't understand that picture is, again, about distorting the image of black women. And sadly, in her at being 57 years old, she can't really understand what's going on here. She can't really understand that you're going to be eternally miffed because, again, you got duped by white supremacy into thinking you were going to open a door. But again, white supremacy never meant for that door to be opened, and they never meant for anybody to come behind Halle Berry and have a series of black women winning that Oscar at all. Now, if you want to learn about the struggles of black actresses in Hollywood and why they have a hard time finding work, you can pick up my screenplay All About Marilyn on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find All About Marilyn at other online booksellers like Draft the Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you want to see some positive images of beautiful black women, you can pick up many of the novels on the SJS Direct imprint, such as A Recipe for Success, which is a story about a black woman making a deal between her family's black-owned business and another black-owned corporation. The books Spellbound, which is about a young black girl entering the goth subculture, and its companion books, The Legendary Mad Matilda and Spinsterella, showing her journey into the goth subculture. And the last book, Spinsterella, is a romance story which is about black on black love as a black goth has a romance with a black man and in an alternative lifestyle. And I also have other books such as the horror novel Eternal Night, and I have books in the fantasy series such as the ISIS series, the Esteem series, and novels like The Temptation of John Haynes, and other books in the John Haynes series. And I have all these great books and great stories featuring positive images of black women on Amazon.com. in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find them at other online booksellers like Draft to Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you'd like to see me make more videos talking about the entertainment industry and taking celebrities like Halle Berry to the barbecue, you can drop a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, All About Nikki, a fabulous first season. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air meets Clueless in this absolutely fabulous African-American 1990s teen sitcom. Get all 13 episodes of All About Nikki, the fabulous first season, in paperback and e-readers today. Now available in paperback. From the author of the critically acclaimed book, The Man Crisis, comes The Woman Crisis. Learn why so many women have become lost in their quest to have it all in The Woman Crisis. Get your copy of The Woman Crisis in paperback at Amazon.com and online booksellers today. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.